I'm Karis.
And I'm Kaitlyn.
And this is the first episode of our podcast.
And this is what happens when church hits the fan.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. I am really excited to be here.
Me too.
We just announced this week that we're starting this podcast, and I honestly was not ready for how pumped you guys are for this.
That was a lot bigger of a response than I was expecting.
No, for real. I told Kaitlyn I was halfway expecting for people to not care, and we'll be like, okay, well, we're really just doing this for ourselves, which is fine.
Yeah.
We would have done it for ourselves anyway. But the fact that people want to hear this, that makes me so happy.
And dude, people shared it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting. I was expecting like mom and dad and like the grandmas to like it, and maybe one of our friends.
Yeah, but people we haven't heard from in a while, we're just like, I'm ready for this.
Dude,
let's do it.
People I don't even know were like, bro, I'm all about this.
Yeah, a lot of people from Bible college. Surprise, surprise.
Karis' Bible college.
Yeah, my Bible college. So yeah, welcome to the very first episode of When Church Hits the Fan. I am, like we said before, I'm Karis.
And I'm Kaitlyn.
And we're sisters. You probably, if you watched the intro video, you knew that already because we look so much alike, especially in that video for some reason.
Somebody said I looked like I was when I was walking up. Somebody said I looked like I was looking to be booked for jail. She was like, "You're so serious."
Like your mugshot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like asking the bailiff, "Do you know what the term PK means?"
He's like, "Bro, shut up. Turn to left."
If you did get arrested, what do you think it'd be for?
Probably something big.
Something
arson or
go
something.
Go big or go home.
I just not gonna be drugs. I don't think.
Mama raised us better than that.
Probably arson.
Man, we'll hurt somebody. I mean, we ain't gonna do no meth.
Or speeding.
Speeding? You think they arrest people for speeding?
Well, if you're going like 100 and a 55, maybe. I don't know.
Think so.
I don't know. I definitely thought for a long time that I would have got arrested if I got caught with my tags being out on my car. Because I was like, man, how am I gonna do it? Like, how's Tina gonna survive without me paying rent? You know?
Oh my god!
I'll be in jail. It was like, who would be my first phone call?
Who would be? Say it's me.
No, it's mom.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do? Laugh at me?
Worth it. I mean,
yeah.
Man, if they arrested people for having their tags out, but yours was out like a year and a half.
No, it was out 3 years.
3 years?
No, 2 years.
Oh my gosh. Bro, maybe that is arrest worthy. Oh my gosh. So on this podcast, you guys are going to come with us. You're going to learn real fast about Kaitlyn's laugh. It's unmistakable, undeniable. It's her identity.
If I were alive during the Salem witch trials, I'd be out.
They would be the first one to go. Like as soon as they announced they're burning witches, they'd go to Kaitlyn's
door. This the first
door.
witch. I would have been like the guinea pig of the Salem witch trials.
Confirmed. After this podcast, if you're within 50 feet of Kaitlyn, you will know. Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit how we grew up. Yeah, so this is about Church Hits the Fan. Obviously, we're going to talk about church culture, growing up and everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. But you're like, Karis and Kaitlyn, how are you even qualified to talk about this?
Well, let me tell you. Our dad was a children's pastor for 23 years at a church down in Southeast Texas.
And we were homeschooled.
We were homeschool PKs, which is worse than a regular PK.
That's like, I don't know if there's a level above that. What would be the level above homeschooled PK?
Homestead. You know?
Oh. Or like Amish homeschooled PK.
Yeah.
The only ones who are more qualified to talk about this than us is the Amish, and they're not releasing any podcasts anytime soon. So here we are. We're here to talk about it.
Are the Amish Christians?
1,000%.
I don't know.
I think that's their whole thing. I think that's the reason that they are Amish is because of the Bible.
Really?
I think.
I just know they make their own butter.
Man.
Amongst other things.
It's holy butter. I want to tell you that now. So, yeah, this podcast, the idea basically came to us. Me and Kaitlyn, man, we just laugh all the time. You can ask, like, if we're having a family meal or whatever, my dad hates it because any subject, me and Kaitlyn are over there freaking laughing our butts off. And most of the time it's referencing to our childhood or how we grew up. And so we're like, I bet other people would enjoy hearing this. And it started off as kind of a joke, like, we should start our own podcast. And they were like,
I think it started off, I saw a TikTok and I was like, nobody will get the inside jokes that you and your bestie have. And I was just like, man, we should start a podcast. And me and Karis would just laugh.
Yeah, I like how you said, like, inside jokes, but we're just gonna share our inside jokes with the whole world now.
Yeah. Also, we can be idiots.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest, I am a little insecure doing this because now everyone's just gonna know how freaking dumb we are.
Everybody's known how dumb I am. They're gonna find out how dumb you are.
Yeah, I feel like I kept a pretty good profile as like a teenager, you know? I've kept a lower profile since I became a mom.
I've never kept a good profile.
Yeah, but people are about to find out how freaking dumb we are. But that's okay. Come be, you know.
I think I bring it out of people.
You for sure.
You put me around anybody, and I'm gonna bring out your inner dum-dum.
Or you're just gonna awkward laugh until she stops talking.
You just laugh and that'll shut me up.
Yeah, so we were talking and we were like, man, we should make a podcast because, dude, we have so many stories to tell. When we were growing up, we were at the church all the time. We did class at church. We would like find a little Sunday school classroom. I think our dad even replaced one of our history classes with a history of the Pentecostal Church in America, Azusa Street and everything.
I wrote a paper on William Seymour.
Yeah, we were at the church all day, every day. We were probably as involved as the church staff with everything that was going on.
We probably knew more than some of the church staff.
Yeah, we weren't even on salary.
No.
But like, oh my gosh, dude, we were there all the time.
We probably knew more than we should have known.
I knew the code to all of the back offices that only the staff were supposed to know. I was 12 years old and I was punching in that code, boy. I felt so bougie too. I was like, none of the other kids know this code. None of them.
And the code to like shut off the alarm.
All
the buildings.
Our dad would be like, hey, go set the alarm in that building. No problem. I got it. I know all the codes.
Dude, Wednesday nights or Sunday nights, we would lock up the buildings. Like, Dad would be like, hey, you go lock up the building, and I'll go do this.
I don't know how Dad always got stuck with the job of locking up the building. Like, he was the one staff member, but that was just how it was. If he was at that event, which he was at 90% of them, me and Kaitlyn and Dad were the ones shutting down the place. Man. So, man. Oh, we have a whole episode about being in a church after dark. Because me and Kaitlyn have lots of stories of how freaking creepy that is. And even some things like, I don't know if it actually happened or if we just convinced ourselves that it happened. But we saw some crap. And then we got to realizing, like, that's not just us. That's any kid that was, like, in the church after dark.
Bro.
Especially behind the scenes when nobody's there.
The scariest room in the dark was the main sanctuary.
Is huge. Like, there could be anything. And I always... Okay, we got to save some of it for the episode, but I always was like, man, church, there was just spiritual warfare, man. These angels and demons are still fighting, and I'm about to see them fighting.
I was like, I know there's one of them demons crouching around trying to get me.
We just cast you out and you're mad. I know it is.
Dude, I remember I would turn the lights out in the big sanctuary, and I would be like, Jesus, 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 Jesus.
All the way back.
Running.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, yeah, the church was literally our second home. We had a few different homes growing up, all in the same area, but the church was so consistent that I could probably I've thought about this. Like, I could probably easily draw you a map of our church, every closet, every bathroom, every door, everything. Yeah. I could do that way easier than I could our own home.
Yeah.
You know, like the home that we lived in growing up. I could take you through a tour of the church today. Yeah. Well, maybe not, because it's changed a bit. But
when we lived in Big Sandy, I could barely remember that house.
Yeah.
But the church, no problem.
Yeah. So that's our credentials. That's why we are qualified we are church kids. Straight up. That's who we is. One thing we wanted to do and make very clear was that this is not a smear campaign. We're not even going to name the church that we grew up in or any of the staff there. And you may be able to guess the names based on some things we're going to talk about, or guess like the denomination we were in, the town we grew up. But we don't even want to like give place to that of like bashing people, because that's not what we're here for.
No. And we're not trying to spill the tea. We're not trying to like backbite or anything like that, you know. And it's one thing to like talk about your past and like what happened and being able to laugh about it, but it's a completely different thing whenever you're out for blood, like you're going out for revenge. Like, that's not cool. That's not what we're about.
No, and to be honest, there might have been a time when that was what I was trying to do. But Jesus is so good that he healed me from that. And so yeah, we just really want to talk about our experiences, tell some stories. Like I said, like we talk about these things and we realize like, oh, we're not the only ones who experience that. Like, this is universal church kid stuff. It's kind of like when you go on, this also might just be a Karis thing, but I don't think it is. When you go on Instagram and you read this super relatable thing that you thought only you did.
Yeah.
And all the comments are like, man, we're all out here living the same life, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's church kids, I feel like, too. You know?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about church culture, and some of it was good. A lot of it was bad. Whether it was corny or just like heretical or whatever. And we both have moved out of the town that we grew up in. We go to a different church now.
Yeah, we live out of state. We live in a completely different state from
I think
where
we could say where we live.
Yeah, we live in Tennessee.
We live in Tennessee. And
this is my address. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting out my address.
And we go to a different church now, and we have such a loving family. Shout out to our church family if you're listening.
You know who you are.
You know who you is. Oh.
Bro, you just turned into Urkel. Then I do that.
You know who he is. Anyway. And we still love Jesus. I want to point that out. We still 1000% love Jesus. The way that we serve Jesus looks completely different. We actually almost called this podcast Deconstruction Without a Permit. It's a little too wordy, but basically because like we've broken down stuff that we believe and that we think about Jesus, because some of it just made no sense, and we've thrown some stuff out and we've kept what's good. But also like we don't have anyone's blessing or permission to do this.
Yeah, we're kind of just going out doing our thing.
We're deconstructors, like just freelancing it out here.
Yeah, we're private contractors.
And I think if we asked any of our old pastors or leaders, they probably would not give us our blessing. Their blessing.
Meh.
So that's, we got no permits to do it. We just out here. Why don't you talk about what the name means?
So the name of our podcast, like we said, is When Church Hits the Fan. And we came up with that idea because we were kind of just like, what is the purpose of this podcast? Like, what is our sole mission for this podcast? And I think it was either me or you. I don't remember. But I think really what we wanted to get across is like, this happened, this is just what happened, and just wanted to talk about it and laugh about it. And I was like sometimes crap hits the fan. And then I was like, ayo, what about when church hits the fan? Because my other one was crap happens or church happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I also love that it plays off the fact that Christians don't cuss, but we will use any other word in the book to replace a cuss word.
Yeah.
You know, church. We even talked about how fun it would be if on this podcast we use the word church in place of cuss words.
What, the church?
Yeah. Church, nah, girl.
That church stank.
I don't even want to guess what cuss word you were replacing there.
Use your imagination.
Dude, yeah. What are some of your, just, get to know me, little icebreakers? Let's go around the room. What are some of the things that inspire you, Kaitlyn? Podcasts, the music you listen to, what kind of stuff are you into?
Well, I hate these kinds of questions. What am I into? I really dig old music.
Mm-hmm. What's old music?
Creedence Clearwater Revival, Eagles, Leonard Skinner, all that crap.
So like 70s.
Yeah, but also it's just old music because I'm also into the Carpenters and the Supremes and stuff like that. So I'm an old soul. Basically, what I'm getting to is I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
That's basically what you need to know about me.
What about podcasts?
Theo Vaughn, this past weekend.
Yeah. Me and Kaitlyn, I think that's actually the first podcast I ever got into was this past weekend.
Oh, that's the only podcast I've ever been into. Except for this one, of course.
Are you a fan of this podcast?
I am a fan.
So it's like Theo Vaughn's number one, close second when Church Hits the Fan.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd marry Theo Vaughn.
As long as it's a close second.
Yeah, that's a second.
All right, cool. What about shows? What kind of shows and movies do you like?
Oh, man. I watch the same shows over and over and over again.
Same.
But Gilmore Girls is what I'm into right now because it's October and it's fall,
Mm-hmm.
seasonal stuff. But New Girl, NCIS.
Center.
Yeah.
Center.
Yes.
Center.
Yes. All the above. There's Always Sunny.
Big. He's in Center.
Yeah, Karis, who got me into that show?
Man, I don't even know. I'd hate to say that was your older sister, but I think it was.
Yeah, she's the worst.
She is the worst. So
now, Karis, you tell me what are some shows, podcasts, music? What are you into?
So I probably caught more of the church culture stuff. It's stuck with me more than it has stuck with you, for sure. My favorite podcast is This Past Weekend, just because I love Theo so much. My second is probably John Chris' podcast, Net Positive.
No, I do like his.
Yeah, he just does it so well. I mean, I think that's the most churchy answer you could give someone. What's your favorite except for like Melissa Helzer. I don't listen to her, but I think that's the most churchy podcast.
Let me tell you something. I don't even know who that is.
She's like she's like a worship leader or something. She's got like the beanie that's too big for her. She's like always has her hands folded. Yes.
So you're describing every person in like the worship community, like Maverick City.
She's the queen of them.
Oh, okay.
She's like Jen Johnson's little minion, I think.
I thought Stephanie Gretzinger, Greasy Fingers.
No, Stephanie's about it. I love Stephanie.
See, I did see her clip on a podcast.
If Stephanie had a podcast, that'd be in my top 5. But I also really like the Office Ladies podcast. Have you ever listened to that?
Is that where they break down the Office stuff?
I just listened to the episode yesterday where they had Steve Carell on.
Oh, really?
It was so cool.
I think there's a podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade, where they break down SNL skits.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. I couldn't really get into it because I didn't know the SNL skits super well. I mean, obviously I know
I just know the church lady one.
Yeah, I know a few SNL skits, but that one's good. My music tastes, I still listen to a lot of CHH, which is, for the listeners out there who don't know, it's Christian hip hop. But if you didn't know what CHH stood for, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast.
I didn't know what that stood for.
Oh, well, it's Christian hip hop. Andy Mineo, Social Club. I just met Social Club last week, and that was the highlight of this decade. I listen to Upper Room a lot. I'm very much in a. This sounds very churchy. This is a very churchy answer, but it's only because I'm not in a very secular mood, like time of my life. I really only want to listen to.
You're so much holier than me.
Well, no, because the reason I don't listen to secular music is because I just find myself getting way, way, way too into it. But I do like secular artists. Like, man, I really love Chance the Rapper. I also Joe Keery. We're big fans of Joe.
I do love Joe.
That's a good fall mood.
Kind of spooky.
Yeah. He's all mysterious, and I think that adds to it. So yeah. What would you say is church culture from when you were a child that you enjoyed a lot? VeggieTales, right?
Yeah. Hoop dogs.
Oh, that's a deep track. That's like you really got to be into it to know that. Let me hear the hoop dogs bark. Hoop hoop.
We used to watch that before we would go to kids camp. Remember? We would meet up at the church that Thursday morning.
Yeah. 3-2-1 Penguins.
Oh gosh, love them.
Dude,
Kevin.
that was legitimately, like, tell me you didn't have a crush on the one penguin with the hair, which is named Zigil.
No, I did not. Wait, are you talking about the captain?
No, Zigil's the captain. Midgel, the one who drives the spaceship.
Was my crush.
Oh, man.
I couldn't stand the captain. I'm like, dum-dum. I'd choose Kevin before I chose you.
Give me he was like, if Tom Cruise was a penguin.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
If Tom Cruise and Elvis had a baby, it'd be that. It
We're
would be
also
him.
penguins.
Yeah.
If Tom Cruise and Elvis in Happy Feet World hatched a kid together, it would have been Midgel from 3-2-1 Penguins.
I'm just going to bring this up. The parallel universe between the Jonas Brothers and 3-2-1 Penguins, because you have, like, Joe, Nick, Kevin, And
but there's 4.
There's 4 penguins?
Yeah, because there's the old dude, the old scientist. But
scratch
Digil
that.
or...
I mean, there's a 4th Jonas brother, though, Frankie.
That's true.
And I forgot about him, too.
That's true.
No hate on
Which
the
Jonas brother would be Midgel? The driver.
Nick.
And then Joe would totally be the dumb captain.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's all making sense now. So yeah, so we grew up with all the movies, man. But you were deep in it if you know who Jump 5 is. Do you remember Jump 5?
I listened to their national anthem song over and over again.
Their cover of the national anthem.
Over and over again. I remember sitting in my room with my hand over my heart.
Oh my God.
I would salute at some point, and then I would think of Pawpaw when I was like,
our grandmother served in the military.
Either one, they both served.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I am so patriotic right now.
Dude, I do remember that. It was like another level. They just took it to another level. And then they had, I don't even like fully remember their songs. I just remember it was so upbeat and like energetic. And I'm like, and they're singing about Jesus?
Here's the thing. The VeggieTales Rock album.
I'm not kidding you. I listen to that to this day.
I still love I Love My Lips.
Okay, I just found out some very important information from one of my OOMF, one of my followers.
God, I need to catch up on all these.
Yeah, you're in the podcast world now, Kaitlyn. Get the net.
I'm such an old soul.
Okay. So Stephen Curtis Chapman's sons sang I Love My Lips. They formed a band called Colony House, which is you don't know who that is. They're like a very popular like beach indie vibe kind of band now. So I Love My Lips was like their first big song.
Dude.
Yeah, they made it, and I'm so proud of them because that song was so freaking good.
It was a good song.
LOVEMYLIPS. Also, Super Chick on that album. So good.
Remember Barlow Girl?
Oh, Barlow Girl. Dude. Okay, quick story. When we were kids for Christmas one year, I was about 8 years old. All I wanted was a Barlow Girl CD. That's all I asked freaking Santa for, was a freaking Barlow Girl CD. And I got a Third Day CD, and Kaitlyn got the Barlow Girl CD that I wanted. I was so pissed. Imagine you're 8 years old and Santa brings you a Third Day CD. Dude, I was so pissed.
I was probably a big enough turd to know. And it was like, she wants this.
No, and I literally I was like, Mom, I wanted that. And everyone was like, calm down, Karis. I was like, you don't understand.
Dude, do you remember that one time you got a freaking basketball goal for Christmas and I got a bed comforter?
All right. Let's not turn this into that.
No, bro, you took it there. You took it there.
Oh my gosh. So those are just a few, and we're going to talk about Christian music, all that stuff. Oh yeah, let's just talk about some of the topics that we're going to be talking about. We got a list of them right here. We're going to have a very special episode with our first guest for Halloween.
Not confirmed, but
hopefully with our first guest on Halloween.
Yeah.
Coming up. You know that's a big deal. Like, if you're growing up in a Christian household, dude, I'm so excited to get into it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much there. And we're going to have a guest, hopefully. And that's going to be soon. What's your favorite one that we're going to do? Or which one are you most looking forward to?
Oh, my gosh. I'm really looking forward to purity culture / dating.
Ooh, and we're going to have... Is it confirmed? Can I say it?
Yeah.
We're going to have Hannah Taylor on for that one. Shout out to
shoot.
Hannah. Hannah was basically I call her my sister.
If there's an honorary PK, it's Hannah.
She was not actually a PK, but yes, she was.
Here's the thing. Hannah was our best friend growing up. More mine than Karis's. But, you know, our best friend. And
now it's, yeah.
But now it's pretty equal.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, me and Hannah were, like, attached at the hip. And so she stayed at the church with us. And if we were at the church for, like, I think after I turned 13, if we were at the church, like, there on out, she was there. She was an honorary PK. And we gave her the codes to everything, man.
Yep. She was just, I would say, like, she was almost as deep in it as us. So she's got a lot to say. She's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about church camp. We're going to talk about kids camp one week and then youth camp. And my husband, who I met at youth camp, is going to join us for that one.
I'm really excited for Eli and Kayla to come on and talk about the aftermath. They are our friends that we met here in Tennessee, and they were also PKs, I think.
But they were PKs in Oregon.
Yeah.
On the other side of the country. So I'm really excited to see the contrast of, like, where we grew up and what things were like in South Texas versus where they grew up.
I'm really interested to see the similarities, but also the differences. But also, just to clarify, the aftermath is meaning, like what we believe in now and, like...
Yeah. Like how it shaped us.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Bible college. Our cousin Bo is going to be on that one. He is actually about to graduate from a very well-known Bible college in Texas. And he's deep in it too. Man, He's got some stories to tell. We're going to talk about denominations. We're going to talk about drinking alcohol. Boom, boom, boom.
That's the big scary one.
Dude, I'll never forget.
That's Big Bertha.
I found out one of our friends' parents had beer in their fridge. I thought that they were going to hell.
How old were you?
I was probably 7. And I remember coming to Dad. And I was like, Dad, I think we need to pray for this person. And he's like, why? He's like, I saw beer in their fridge. Never mind the fact that I was snooping and totally sneaking around.
Bro, you were looking for something. You're like, I know they know.
Weren't we all?
Oh my gosh.
So we have a lot of topics. We're going to be talking about youth group games and how destructive man, I got some stories on that one. We're going to talk about Hell House.
I'm excited for Christian conspiracy theories.
Yes! All the Trump prophets. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about camp meeting. Man, if you ever had to sit through camp meeting, I'm so sorry.
If you know what camp meeting is, I'm sorry.
We're going to, I don't know if he knows this yet, but we're going to have our dad on that episode.
Oh, shoot, really?
Because he was on staff during camp meeting.
Yeah. Fun fact about our dad, he was also a pastor's kid.
Yep, he was. But at multiple different churches, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have more than that, but you know, we gotta leave a little bit. We have some guests.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are pastors' kids. Some of them, actually, a lot of them are pastors' kids, but a lot of them are people that we didn't grow up with, and some of them are people we grew up with. We're gonna have a lot of different types of views and perspectives. That's what we really want, because we don't want you to just sit here and listen to just our stories.
Yeah.
You know, we want to hear some other stories, and we want to talk about church as a whole.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might be getting a little bit deep, but most of the time, it's just going to be us cracking up and being dumb.
Just for poops and giggles.
Just for church and giggles.
Just for church and church. So, Karis, tell me, who do you think our audience is going to be? Haters?
They hate us because they hate us. Dude, I quote that every chance I get. Also, freaking swine over here. Oh my god. Oh man, our haters. I think there's gonna be people we grew up with who are like, they're doing a podcast about church. They only went to one church.
I was gonna do a podcast about church.
But I was gonna talk about how great it was.
You think you can get past me? Huh? You know that one SpongeBob episode where you're just complaining?
They can just do me like that? Yeah. Me and Kaitlyn have very obscure SpongeBob references because we love SpongeBob, but we were never allowed to watch it growing up. So our SpongeBob references are only like half there.
Dude, every time I watch SpongeBob, I feel like I was like smuggling something.
What are you doing? Nothing.
I'm a drug mule, Ma. Sorry.
Dude, that's real. Like, if the channel was on Nickelodeon at all, like, you're about to have to do a repentance prayer.
Dude, the fact that we weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob, but we grew up watching The Simpsons.
That shows you what our mother was like, and also what our father was like.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad. We're not trying to rat you out, but
dude,
we are.
That's real. So I think that there's going to be people who are like, they want to hear, let's be honest, they want to judge us.
Yeah.
They want to get on here and they want to be like, ooh, what are they up to now? What are they like now? We still love Jesus.
Yeah. Well, joke's on you. We're judging ourselves too. All right.
Amen. I think there's going to be people, maybe they want to offer us some hush money. Not to talk about.
I will accept.
Yeah.
Six figures.
Venmo is.
Yeah, 6 figures.
Yeah. If if you all of a sudden don't hear any more podcast episodes and we're on Instagram wearing Gucci, you know what happened. And I'm fine with that.
Hey, me too.
Either way, I'm here to have a good time, you know.
Hello, Invisalign. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
I do think that we're gonna have loyal people though. Like, you know, Hannah. I think she's gonna be a listener, and we have people now here at our church. They might listen because I feel like we have cool things to say, and they like us.
Yeah, I'm like shocked at how many people want to hear this stuff. Again, like when we posted that, I was not expecting people to be so supportive, and it just made me so happy.
Yeah, I was like surprised. I was like, wow, this many people like us,
and they want to hear this stuff.
Yeah,
like, thank you guys. If you're listening right now, thank you that you are just like that. You want to be here with us. That you want to. First of all, hear us talk, because that is a commitment already. And
right.
Second of all, like, I don't know. And I hope that we're gonna just share freedom that we found from religion, Because I found, like, just in retrospection and healing and everything, I found that our enemy is never the people. It was never a pastor. It was never a leader. It was always religion.
Yeah.
It was always religion.
Mm-hmm.
And we found freedom from religion. And hopefully, maybe just by hearing us be dumb and talk about things and laugh about things, maybe we can minister freedom to you too.
Yeah.
Or maybe just, you know, maybe we can learn together how to walk in that freedom and not let shame from how we grew up get in the way, or let condemnation tell us lies. Yeah. Or, you know, let's just live in Jesus and have fun.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something that I grew up with, and I'm sure a bunch of people that grew up in church or grew up pastors' kids felt the pressure of they had to, you know, act a certain way, do certain things, and say certain words, and, you know, be a certain way. And I think there's a lot of freedom, because now I don't have that. It took a lot of, I don't know, praying to get over that. But I hope that maybe some of our listeners can get over that too, and just, you know, listen to us, be us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally getting away from, like, oh, you know, that's the pastor's kid, you know?
Yeah, and I would say I know church really, really well. I know church really well. I could fake the most deep emotional sermon just based on sermons that I've heard. And you know, like, when you've spent so much time in church, you're just churchy. You know how to be churchy.
Yeah.
You know how to do church. But I would say that only in the last few years have I really known Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know church. I want to know Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that in most churches those are one and the same, but I'm not sure that it actually, I know it's not the case some of the times. And, like, okay, so last night I was praying, and I've just kind of been in a time of, like, confusion, like when I pray and I don't really feel like I hear God's voice. But last night I was praying and I just started crying because I realized that this is the first time in my life where I didn't hear God's voice immediately, and I didn't just assume that he was mad at me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't just give in to the lie that religion says that God is mad at you because he's quiet.
Yeah.
Because that was actually never the case.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't punishing me. That's just, like, a small example of how, like, religion through churchy things can have such a bondage and a hold on you. But when you really know Jesus, you know that he just wants you to be free. And honestly, he wants you to be a kid. He wants you to have fun. He wants you to laugh at dumb stuff. He wants you to have freedom to talk about things that happen to you, to tell your stories, and to you know, just not worry about all that stuff.
Yeah. What was it our pastor said the other day? What was it that he said? Oh man, don't hate me. But he was saying to some degree that whenever we perform, like, as if we need to do something to make God love us, it's kind of just slapping him in the face with, like, all that he did. You know, it's like, was my sacrifice not enough?
Wow, yeah.
Like, performance, like, when we perform for God's love, it was like, does that mean that God's love, his sacrifice, does that mean it wasn't enough, that I have to do something?
Yeah.
And bro, that right there, that spoke to my heart.
Yeah.
And I was talking with somebody, and they were saying that God was talking to them, and they were like, if you stay like how you are right now, you never grew, you never changed, you never developed, you never did anything, I would still love you just as much. Like, my love for you will never change. And I think that's something that I needed to hear, because for a long time I always thought I needed to do more, I need to be better, I need to, you know, be more spiritual and stuff. And that the fact of the matter is that's not the truth. Right. The truth is, I need to sit still and be a child of God.
Right, yeah. And if he says go do that, go do that.
Yeah, just obey, yeah.
Yeah, so in already busting out scripture, first episode, in Ecclesiastes it says, there's nothing better for a person than that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. Like, all of Ecclesiastes is like, there's nothing good under the sun. There's nothing good on everything is vain. But that's the one thing that he says that you can do is just enjoy. Enjoy. And I think that this is that. There's been a lot of things that have been hurtful. There's a lot of things that have been hard that we have really required healing and loving relationships to get through. But now we're just going to enjoy it. We're not going to be bitter. We're not going to talk bad about it. We're not even going to regret it. We're just going to enjoy it. We're going to process things, and you guys are going to come with us. You're going to hear our stories. You're going to hear other people's stories, and we're going to process it and maybe even heal a little bit. Because I think deep down, every church kid needs some healing. Every church kid. Because people suck. And people get hurt. And I think that every church kid just needs to know that Jesus loves them. And that they're doing good. You know?
Also be reminded that God's not the church.
Yeah.
The church is not God.
Yeah.
And the people that might have hurt you, that wasn't God. That wasn't God's intention. Like, God's heart for you is not to hurt you.
Yeah. Because I talk to people, and there's some people that just don't even go to church anymore because they've just been so hurt. And I'm like, man, that was never God's heart.
Yeah.
Man, we've gotten deep already on the first episode. How did we get here? So anyway, I think that that's a good way to wrap this first episode up. Also, just want to say that this podcast is a direct result of what happens when church hits the fan.